Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is Christelle Martinette. I hope my connection lasts. Thank you so much for your support and thank you for being with me now, tonight. As you know, we're going to be channeling John E. Mack, and I mentioned a little bit about him in the description under my video. So what I'm going to do is give you a little bit of background on him. I'll be reading something from the New York, let me show you. This is from the New York Times Magazine, just to give you an idea. And it says, I didn't realize, one of the recounts, one of the stories of one of his clients, he was a psychiatrist, and who came across a series of clients who talked to him about aliens and alien abduction. I didn't realize I was having sex with aliens until just a few months ago, Peter Faust is saying over coffee in the living room of his Watertown, Massachusetts home. Things unfold. It went from sperm samples to knowing that it had something to do with hybrid children, to knowing that my sperm was somehow being used by extraterrestrials, to seeing myself with an extraterrestrial female. This tapestry unfolded over the course of a year and a year and a half, and 8 hypnosis sessions with a Pulitzer Prize winning Harvard psychiatrist named John E. Mack. Faust wasn't the only one telling Mack stories. Over the last few years, nearly 100 other UFO abductees, people who were abducted by aliens, found their way to him and told the 64-year-old, I'm trying to pull this up and read it, there you go, and told the 64-year-old psychiatrist at Cambridge Hospital stories as bizarre as any he'd encountered in more than 300 years on the wards. Time and again, he heard of people being floated through walls on beams of light into spaceships, and of people lying paralyzed on tables under alien assault. He was told of tagging devices implanted in sinuses and eyeballs removed and put back. From the description of the fetus-like aliens known in UFO parlance as the Greys, to the experiments they performed, the sex was non-stop. Men told of anal probes, of forced sperm taking, women told of artificial insemination and removal of embryos. Dr. Mack heard that a human-alien hybrid race was being created on the ships. Listless, huge-eyed, wispy-haired children that look like keen paintings on chemo. For a Freud psychoanalyst, this material was compelling. And Mack's interest in these patients and the book he was writing about them would not have caused a stir. Would not have caused a stir if it weren't for, and this is a conference that I found in YouTube, which is probably one of the most, let's say the most exhaustive of the work of both Bud Hopkins and John E. Mack, and you'll see it with this thumbnail in YouTube. It's about close to 2 hours long. As you can see, it was filmed and recorded. It was just recorded there. It's like a podcast. You'll hear the recording in the background, and just this thumbnail straight on all the time. And it is 1997. Now, there is also a lot to be said about. I'm going to leave that on the screen just a moment so you can read it. There is a lot to be said about how this man went about doing his work. Just a moment, let me clear the air here. Okay, now let's get back to us. Let's get back to us. Now, there's going to be some ground rules, all right? Some ground rules means that we're going to deal with only general questions. We're not going to have personal questions, so I can't take personal questions today. So let me go and see what we have here. Let's start. Okay, let's start with Shri, who asks, please enlighten on different timelines and what is the relative passing. Hang on, I can't see the rest here. My chat is on. Okay, what is the relative passing of time like? Do we love the same souls? All right, I don't know how these questions work together, but let's talk about the timelines. You see time in a way that is linear from left to right. Spirits see timelines as parallel, as if they were train tracks. They never cross each other, and they are individual timelines. They are as many as you can imagine, and as many as your mind will allow you to visualize. Let me tell you a story, an example this is really. Let's say that you have a relationship with a person, and that person and you have no longer seen each other, have stopped seeing each other for months. But you feel the energy of that person, and you always think about them. You can't get that person out of your head. This happens, and it is supposed to give you a clue as to what is going on in another timeline. In another timeline, you have a relationship with that person and are playing out different scenarios in that timeline that involve people they know, people who you know and know. Currently, this could occur at different levels, different timelines. If that person has another relationship or is married, they conceive of a relationship with you in a fourth timeline. There is one, the current, where you don't speak, another where you do interact, a third when there is a third party interacting with him, and a fourth where you have arguments with the third party. There are many different scenarios, but it is something that you may say to me, do not tell me about this. I cannot understand. What I can understand is that I have to pay my bills. And this is third dimension time. Whoa. I guess that was a mouthful. I hope we were able to. I'm very slow. I'm seeing myself as if it's very, very slow. And so I'm hoping my computer will last because I have a very poor connection where I am. So let's go on. I have Alaya. Are most of the aliens allowed to enter the Earth's atmosphere at this time? What percentages are good and what are bad? There is a discussion that needs to be made first of all. We cannot reason in terms of bad and good. We can say that they have different agendas than our own that may not align with our own. They at one point were sent to our Earth's environment for a purpose, to modify humans' consciousness. Then they understood that there was a world they did not understand, filled with emotions. There is, in this case, a time and a place where most extraterrestrials tried learning about copulation, reproduction, and love. And it is as if they are learning, experimenting, but at the same time engineering human experience and modifying our DNA and our emotional developments. You'll see in the YouTube interview that I put up on the board, you will see that there's a question and answer session, and the people ask, well, what is, and they ask point blank questions, and John Mack and Bud both say, we don't know for sure. Let's see. Rishba, please tell, how do souls tell the future of others, and how are their predictions reliable? Predictions are like pictures you see, and of course everyone has a different perspective. It is subjective. There are subjective pictures they see. But I ask you, if you go to 3 different people and they tell you similar things, I suggest you start believing them and get either another opinion or just take what they say and he's saying bring it to the bank. Bring it to the bank. Take it home and put it in the bank. There is a way, of course, of looking into the future. But if I tell you, you are going to meet a person who is so beautiful you will be blinded, but that person is not worthy of your love and is not trustworthy. Then, within a month, you meet a person. You are blinded by their love, but you don't know them and have no idea if they are trustworthy. You get a clue of their trustworthiness after interacting with them for several months. But you fall in love and decide to remain with them. This is your prerogative, your choice. Does that mean that the person who looked into your future was wrong or not? It means you decided to not take heed, and most likely, chances are, they will either leave you or fall in love with a third party. It is possible for you yourselves to look into your own futures. This is done at night. This is done in dreams. This is done even during the day in daydreams. The issue is that most everyone is moving in a world that travels so fast you do not have time to think. Oh, this is a very cool cat. You know, I get the impression he's a very cool cat, you know. Pooja is asking, is there a way to protect oneself from these attacks? Yes and no. The persons who are most open to being attacked are those who have a specific meaning for them. By this, I want to say that their potential as a source of information is very important, even if it is a child. Their view of, for example, emotional life, how they fall in love, or how they speak of their bond with their relatives is a way of learning for them. You can protect yourself only to a certain degree, and the way you can do this is by following similar instructions for psychic attacks. But you need to be an extremely strong psychic to counteract those kind of attacks. Oh dear, let's see. Okay, let me see. Greetings to you, Jaya Prakash. What happens to the soul of someone who commits suicide compared to having a natural death? Committing suicide is a choice like any other. There is no difference, not at all. You are asking me because of certain beliefs rooted in religions that say it is sinful to take one's life. But it is a choice just like any other. People who doctor accounts, doctor the books, do not pay taxes, or even cheat on their spouses, are only making choices that go against the grain of man-made laws and certain religious scriptures. But their death is nothing different from others. How you can conceive of so-called punishment for them would be a return to life and incarnation in situations where they need to clean up their act, clean up the mess they created before their new life. What a character, this one. What a character. Let's see. Okay. Deepika Singh. Is black magic so common here on Earth? I am attacked so much by that. Let's see about the commonality of black magic. Most black magic, as you call it, are Simply and not so simply, thoughts concentrated toward achieving a certain goal. Anyone can do it. Anyone at all. Anyone. If you are the object of black magic, this means that you have not tried yourself to protect yourself from these type of attacks. I hope you understand what I am trying to tell you. You are not a victim. Your question seems as if it's from someone who's feeling victimized. You also make decisions that have brought you that energy. I guess he's putting us in our place, isn't he? Let's see. All right, we have a similar question on suicide. Okay. All right, another thing about future. We talked about the future. Okay. Are spirit guides, higher souls, aliens the same? Okay, so are spirit guides, aliens, and higher souls, are they all the same? No. Spirit guides guide people, incarnated souls. Masters, or what you may call archangels, or higher spirits in a form of hierarchy, are of a different gift. They have a greater divine gift. Aliens are beings that were created in another environment, in another context. They have something we do not have on Earth. They are highly skilled technologically. They are advanced and can manipulate a person's will and can engineer extremely important changes for people on this earth. Their influence is great, but is limited to very few people on earth at a time. It is not a mass effort or mass invasion. It is a spot check, as if they choose and pick where and who they want to influence. This is quite a character, really, quite a character. Let's see. Let's see. Okay, let's see. Pooja asks, thank you, Pooja. If a person distances him or herself from trauma and identifies with consciousness, spirit, universe itself, won't this protect them from all attacks? Yes, absolutely. Okay. Well, Pooja, you hit it on the nose. The question is, how, a lot of people will ask that next. How can I distance myself? How can I? Okay. I see the same questions over and over. Hang on. Something's telling me. Here we go. AB is asking, with the knowledge gained on Earth and the life after, what would be the message? What can we people do for each other to add value in each other's lives? There truly is one thing only, and it is acceptance, unconditional acceptance of others. Many people call this love, but I guarantee you that word is not something an alien would say to you. I would say thanks and unconditional love. That would help others help themselves. Well, there's a sudden silence, a real sudden silence here. I can't get this off the screen. There you go. Okay, let me see if I can check. More questions. Okay. Katie, what should the earth focus on to be clean the air, water, and land of earth? What should the earth's focus, what should people focus on to cleaning in the earth? Let me see if John is figuring it out. The earth and the universe is a package. It's a package deal. You cannot split water from air, from plants and animals. It is one, and the cycle is unique and one. A focus should be on the planet itself. This is the most difficult problem to solve on Earth today. It is not the illnesses or pandemics. No, it is how to safeguard the planet. The unfolding. How do we determine our soul group of origin? If you do not know anything about soul groups, it is impossible for you to determine it. You need to seek guidance from people who do. It is much greater a guide than any astrological chart could be. An astrological chart does not take into account other universes and other beings or extended energies. Neither does it take into account different timelines. There you go. All right. Okay, TZBH. All fall to temptations, so how can one purify their soul? There are different temptations, aren't there? Eating chocolate is a temptation. So I ask you, what is a temptation for you? And what laws govern you specifically? Every country, every man and woman on earth is guided from a certain moral fabric, and they are ruled by this. To break a rule means they broke a rule they believed in or abided by. It is difficult to speak of morality in terms of temptation and soul purification. The soul is perfect, whether it is incarnated in a person's body who is imprisoned or not. Their life is perfect. They are doing what caused their imprisonment. They are living out their decisions. What you may be asking could be summarized by an example. Many scriptures speak of never doing harm to others, but the notion of harm changes from one culture to another. I hope you can understand this. Soul purification can take place, of course, through prayer in your own culture, through prayer and conversations with the divine from within your own culture. If you speak of temptations, it is a matter of consciousness that you yourself need to think about. It's very philosophical on the one hand, but the questions too are also philosophical as well. Risab, what do we have to do to uplift our journey and to attain liberation forever? Is there any way? It seems like you are asking the same question about temptation, as if you are not uplifted. And I wonder why you ask this question. Don't you know that our joy comes from ourselves? You yourself has the ability to uplift, as you say, yourself. Joy, the word joy, is a word in many cultures that is used to express divine happiness. It is here as if you want or do not want divine happiness. It is your choice to make. You decide whether that is what you want and go toward it by your actions. You ask how. Many people need prayer. Others need forgiveness. Others need social togetherness in order for them to feel this divine joy. Think of your life and what could work for you. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. Okay. There is such a calm. Everything is so still, and there's a common feeling around. It's as if there. How can I put it? There's a lot of light. Okay, apart from the rooms, but there's a lot of light, and the stillness that is felt now. It's something very uncommon that I rarely feel when I channel. The stillness here is shouting. It's so calm, and it's like a sibiling sound, but it's still calm, and it's not silence. It's not silence. Deepika, are there highly programmed people like cyborgs walking around us? I've seen a known person manipulating energies, and he was so much into my gadgets. Interesting question. Hold on. You win the jackpot. You win the jackpot. Yes, there are. And I would not call them using that name that sounds like something out of a movie. But although they are not complete extraterrestrials, they have been implanted with some form of a device which includes energy, which stores information and transmits information. But they are human and have added parts or pieces that were implanted. Yes. This happens quite often when there is abduction, when people are abducted. Almost in every abduction, there is some form of implanting of a device of this kind. You can call it a chip if you like, even if it sounds like a Hollywood movie talking, but yes. In this specific case, you will see that they are not harmful. They are simply curious, and the responses they receive and information that is included on this implant will be read by others. Do not fear this. We are talking about this together because you are in part frightful of these phenomena. Please understand that what occurs on Earth is rapidly changing every second, and not even 1% of the Earth's population knows anything about it. But it is the way of the world, if I can use this expression. This is the way the world turns. You are making me think like a television set. He's a funny guy. This is going to be more common as time goes by. Do not ever ever fear these changes. Always embrace change. Just try to widen your horizon and imagine the possibility of changes occurring that today are not understandable to you. Wow. I don't think I remembered anything I just said. So I'm really going to have to go back. I really have to go back and listen to all of that. Let's see. Let's see. I'm trying to skip over the ones that are similar. Let's see. Okay. That was so funny. People were writing under my videos saying that I was paid to say certain things. It's just incredible how people think, how why in the world would I say certain things? And who's going to come and pay me to say certain things? I think it's hysterical. Okay. Let me take this question. Greetings to you. Dear John E., did you meet God? No. You remember, we are not on earth and God is in you. You may want to consider thinking about divine, the divine, anything that is divine. It cannot be something that you have inside. There is a piece of the divine inside you. I am never going to meet the divine as if in a public place. No, the divine is in me. I, yes, am aware of what you mean, but my words have trouble to explain what truly happens here. You are part of your surroundings. You have a consistency that is not heavy as it was on earth. Your lightness carries with it the divine, and that's how you can say, yes, there is a meeting, perhaps. I will never get this. I just won't get it. I can't get it. Okay, let me take another question because my computer is starting to give me signs. Okay. When will COVID end? Jasmeet, when will COVID end? When the cows come home. He's saying when the cows come home. When the cows come home. Okay. Yes and no is my answer to you, because there will be an ending or a lax moment of relaxation of a difficult period, but you will find that other issues will arise and other illnesses will arise, other types of difficulties that will hit people's healths will arise. This too is part of the way the world turns, as I said before. You have to understand now, there is no guarantee or security for anyone on earth. You can be breathing your last breath now, and afterwards pass. It is very much a mental block if you are not able to understand this. It also begs you to remember that the most important moment is now, not the future. I beg you to understand two very important things. The first, to embrace change. The second, to give thanks. But there are two others. The third is to forgive yourself. And the fourth, to love unconditionally. This is how you can literally uplift your spirit and that of others. Ladies and gentlemen, I do hope this was of help to you. It is Saturday. It's Saturday evening here down under. It will be tomorrow in many places of the world. Do have a nice weekend, and I will be back. It was a pleasure. Thank you so much for your support. Namaste. Bye-bye. Bye-bye, everybody.